Hey there guys, I'm Zach and this is Zach's Editing, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can remove acne from your photos. So first off, I'm going to open up the photo. So here we have it. So you can see it's sort of red and so we want to sort of get rid of this but still make it look realistic. So it's not just going to be like, say, like this sort of smoothness over the whole cheek, because that's unrealistic. So first off, we'll go ahead and just right click the layer and go layer from background, and then we're just going to duplicate it as well, just with Control J, and then we'll just hide the layer. So we'll just name that boy, and then what we're going to do is go to our hue/saturation and apply that, and then we'll go into the properties, and we're going to sort of drag around so we can change all of like the hues and saturation of the full image here, or we can go up and choose any of these colors to change by themselves. So say if we want to change just the greens, we could do that. So we're going to go to red because that's the main color that we want to get rid of. And then if we sort of move around the hue, we can see that it's mainly just affecting that red. So you can see if you sort of move it to the left, it's sort of making these reds more bright. So we'll just go ahead and choose a color that's it stands out from the skin color that it changes it to as well. And then we're going to scroll through this little bar down here, and pretty much it's changing from the top color to the bottom color, so that's what it's going to be changing. So we'll just slightly scroll around until we can see that this redness is sort of mainly highlighted and the skin color is sort of back to its normal sort of color. So that's pretty good. And then what we're going to do is set all of these to 0 again, and then move the hue up a bit until the acne is looking sort of skin color as well, and then we'll also move the saturation and the lightness up as well until it sort of fits the best to looking as skin color as possible. So we don't want it to look unrealistic, but we want it to look much better. So you can see already that that's made a big difference. So if we just go ahead and hide this layer, you can see that that's a big difference. So you might notice that you've lost sort of colors in other sort of areas of the face, but that's fine. So what we'll do is we'll show you this layer, and we'll click here, and then we'll go ahead and grab a brush that is black, and then we'll just set, if you hold Alt and right click and drag, you can sort of change the hardness and diameter. So if you pull it up, you'll change the hardness to 0%, and if you drag it to the right, you'll make it slightly bigger. So we'll get a good sort of size and hardness, and then we'll just color in any bits where we want the color to come back. So you can see now that I'm doing that, if you look down here, you can actually see it's applying a mask where it doesn't want to be affected. So you can sort of go around anywhere where there isn't acne, just to pretty much be safe, just so it has that full color. So you can see that color is coming back into the ear there. So yeah, it's looking much more realistic again, and then that looks pretty good. So now that we've got that, what we're going to do is click both of these together. So if you just hold shift as you click both of them, and then we'll hit Control E, and then it's just merging it into one layer, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. So then we'll just click both layers. So if you click the first one, then hold shift and click the second layer as well. What we're going to do is just hit Control J, and that'll just duplicate it, and then with the bottom two layers, we'll select them and hit Control G, which will group them. We'll hide that group, and then we'll select the two top ones, and we will go and hit Control E, which will merge them into one layer. So now if there's any problems, we can always go back to here, and then if there's any problems, say with this one, we can go back to here as well. Just so it adds that little bit of safety, so you can easily go back without having any problems. So we'll hide that group and show the layer. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab the clone stamp tool, which is just right here. You can hit S, and then we'll set the flow to 100%, and we're going to sort of bring down the opacity a bit. So now on this layer, you select it, and we'll bring down the size. So I'm just hitting left square bracket, and then if you hold Alt and click, that's where it's going to be sort of taking the information from. So you can see if you sort of click there, while I'm holding down, you can see that little arrow right there where it's taking that information from. So we'll bring down the opacity just to make it sort of as lifelike as possible, because you don't want to have the exact same sort of look, and you don't want it to be completely smooth everywhere, so it just is able to stop you from making it look too unrealistic. So now we'll just go ahead and sort of remove any of those harshest bits, and also another reason just for using the opacity at that is just our brain is really good at picking up repetition. So if you've got repetition of, say, just a tiny bit of skin, your brain's able to pick it up really easily, and so it'll look much less realistic. So you just want to always be moving around where you're taking the information from, just to stop that as well. So now we can see that this is looking way better, and this boy no longer has acne on his face. This is really helpful just to make you look a bit nicer. So if we just sort of look between the two differences, we can see that's the original image, and then this is the new one, which looks much better. We've gotten rid of all of those sort of, you can see this is sort of a bulgy sort of bit, and gotten rid of all of those reds to keep it skin color, and make it look realistic. So when you're sort of viewing them two together, you can sort of see that it's not quite like perfect, because you can see, like, especially in this sort of area, that it's becoming quite smooth right there. So you could go in more and sort of use sort of these sort of imperfections and sort of place them around sort of, that's just depending on how much time you have and how much detail you want to put in on it. So for example, if it's a really close image like this, you probably would want to put in more detail. But if it's a really far image, then obviously you're not going to need as much detail, because you don't need that detail for what it's going to be seen as. So thanks for watching this tutorial. I hope you found it helpful and you're able to now remove acne from those images without any hassles. If you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.